Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter. Hello, fine folks. This is Freedom Fighter, and I am your host of Goldilocks Global Banking News. Welcome, welcome. Folks, when Goldilocks speaks of the Commodities Future Trade Commission, I want you to think of a question. Do you know what's going to back the dinar, the Vietnamese dong, and all currencies around the world? Commodities. Commodities such as gold, silver, and agricultural products. So when Goldilocks speaks of the Commodities Future Trade Commission, otherwise known as the CFTC, it's important to pay attention. This global agency is responsible for the commodities that will back our currencies that we hold. Yesterday, October the 16th, they had a meeting, and it was a roundtable meeting, and they are looking to implement additional measures to secure the commodities that will back our currencies in the new banking system. Over the course of the last several years, Goldilocks has shared much from the CFTC, Commodities Future Trade Commission, and Goldilocks is sharing some updates that are transpiring, of course, and they are preparing for the new financial system and the commodities that will back our currencies. But before we get into that, Goldilocks is sharing some information today about something else, another agency that has an announcement relevant to foreign currency, and that is the International Swaps and Derivatives Association that has an announcement. For those that don't know, swaps is related to when we exchange our currency from, let's say if it's from the dinar to the USD, that's a swap. You're swapping one currency value for another. If you're swapping or exchanging the Vietnamese dong for the US dollar, you're swapping one currency for another with an expected value in return. So the International Swaps and Derivatives announcement is very important. Goldilocks shares the purpose of this announcement is a clearing event, is to facilitate the entry into clearing of derivative transactions. So this is clearing of the transactions on the new quantum financial system. When we exchange our currencies, there's a clearing process in the computer systems that are very important to be accurate. What is happening is this particular association, this Swap and Derivatives, International Swap and Derivatives Association, they have a template for negotiating agreements between counterparties for swaps that are intended to be cleared. So just think, negotiating of agreements, you won't see that. It's on the back end with the banks. It includes procedures for submitting trades and clearing and obligations for each party, meaning both sides of the exchange, meaning the bank and you, the client, or whether it's a trade with the trader in the bank. The clearing event can directly affect foreign currency exchange rates, as the International Swaps and Derivatives Association has what's called a master agreement that's going into place, and it governs many contracts, including foreign exchange swaps, meaning a clearing event of a forex swap could result in significant currency moves due to the large positions being settled at once. This can particularly impact market volatility, that is, the up and the down of rates during a clearing process. During this clearing event, it can directly affect foreign currency exchange rates, as this master agreement is highly important. You got to understand this master agreement is widely used for structuring foreign exchange transactions between financial institutions, making it a key factor in how forex markets react to clearing events. So this basically means is what happens between bank to bank as far as clearing the transactions. They have to make sure that, again, both sides of the transaction from bank to bank is accurate and clears properly. So when the Central Bank of the US, which is the Federal Reserve, and you go to exchange dinar or any other currency, let's say the Central Bank of Iraq, the CBI, and the Federal Reserve, their systems must be synchronized properly in order for the exchange, the transaction, to clear and be accurate. So they are announcing additional upgrades to the system in order for these transactions and exchanges within the banking system, not only for exchanges, ladies and gentlemen. This is just in general for the new banking system. Our exchanges will absolutely be a part of it. It affects market impact. It affects clearinghouse role, and the Securities and Exchange Commission is actually looking to increase the resilience of the world's most important bond market by pushing the U.S. Treasury trades through central clearing by the end of 2025, following a series of events. No. This is not something that we have to wait for. This is just an announcement of something that they are doing and will continue to do in infinity within the banking system, is continuous upgrades. Just know that master agreements, Goldilocks shares, is between countries and standardized contracts that establish terms and conditions for future transactions. So this is something that not only is happening now, but will continuously happen within the banking system in the future. Goldilocks is sharing that as we shift into a new banking system, a new digital banking system, between banking systems and the movement of new trading relationships in local currencies, they will be utilizing treasury bonds. Shifts in demands for local currencies will begin. They'll begin to take on a new role, requiring new price changes on those currencies. So these agreements are ways to assure the prices, the new prices on foreign currencies, are accurate moving forward on a consistent basis in the future. This is why Goldilocks is sharing. This is why new international trade agreements and payment systems will come into play in 2025 to account for the changes that are ongoing to take place as our countries transition into a more treasury payment based system. And the treasury payment based system, folks, is a commodity backed system. Goldilocks is sharing that things are really heating up in the world with these new agreements and the interfacing of the new clearing mechanisms taking place in the banking system in preparation for next year. Now Goldilocks is going to share from the Commodities Future Trade Commission, the CFTC. Yesterday, October the 16th, had a roundtable meeting, and the purpose of it is to discuss the release of new guidelines that they're going to talk about. They discussed what are called custody and delivery of digital assets. What is going to back our currencies, our physical currencies, commodities? How are they going to be backed in the new digital system? With digital assets. What are digital assets? Gold, silver, and other assets that will have a digital representation of them. The use of digital assets is 24/7. The 24/7 clearing and the conflicts of interest related to affiliations and vertically integrated entities. The participants represent a wide variety of banks, institutions, central banks, and others. Also, where central banks that hold our currencies are connected to. Why is this so important? That we understand and know that this is something happening behind the scenes with the Commodities Future and Trade Commission. It's important to know so that you realize that there is consistent ongoing upgrades and corrections to the new quantum financial system in preparation for when the switch is turned on for the new banking system. Goldilocks shares will be going over some of the items on the list this week. There was a list that was shared, and the link will be in the description that you can take a look at. That's going to be relevant to our exchanges. Goldilocks shares that, as we discussed the other day, clearing mechanisms are being interfaced and tweaked to move the digital assets of the new financial system from country to country and bank to bank. The clearing, folks, of our transactions, the clearing of our exchanges is so highly important. What they are doing behind the scenes within the banking system is to make sure that there's no hiccups, there's no corruption, no manipulation with our exchanges, and not only with our exchanges in general within the new banking system, because this is a shift from the old financial system into the new financial system. Rest assured, all things are being taken care of behind the scenes in order to make sure that in the new banking system, where your wealth will be stored, if you so choose, the clearing of it going in and the movement of it going out is to your best interest, and no one can take it away from you. Be kind, be well, be in love, unconditional love. Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.